Yes, we're gonna talk about box office, no, not boxing. The box office. And holy moly, you have Barbenheimer continuing to dominate the box office even after so many weeks. Gran Turismo, which raised to the first position this week. As well as films like Blue Beetle, which are flopping.
Where is the money?
You have Strays, a movie that nobody gives a damn about. Sums up this week's box office very well. Yo, what's good, you guys? I'm KB Productions. Nice to meet you. Today I'm going to talk about the recent box office news. So, Gran Turismo is number 1 with $17 million domestically. That's a good number in my opinion. It earned a 36.5 overseas, good number. Overall box office, 53.8 million. Now that's a really good number. I thought this film was going to do very badly, but there were a couple of good reviews which came out, and that good reviews really carried this film. This film did really well at the box office. I'm proud of this movie. Barbie, second, $17.1 million. Like, whoa! Like, what? Whoa. Calm down. What? A 19% drop. This is the smallest drop that Barbie had so far. And the numbers are actually pretty big. Usually when it comes to this point, films will have like at least 40% drops, but this film has good legs. Despite all the criticizers and the criticisms this film receives, this film is doing really well at the box office. Surprisingly well, actually. So right now it has earned $594 million. It is the highest grossing film that Warner Bros. Has put out domestically. Worldwide, it still goes to Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, but this film is very close to beating that film. If it continues to have drops like these, it will definitely beat out Harry Potter. And that's insane. Barbie beating out Harry Potter. That sounds insane. So $745 million overseas, $1.34 billion overall worldwide. And here's the funny part. Highest grossing film of 2023 so far is still a Super Mario Brothers movie. And this film is very close to beating that film. You want to hear something funny? The studio actually re-released Super Mario Brothers movie in a couple of theaters. I'm not kidding, they actually re-released the movie so fast already. So I was like wondering why on earth would they do this, and I have my own thoughts on this. I think I know why they did it, because Super Mario Brothers movie has held the spot of highest grossing film of 2023 as of now. And I think the studio wants to keep it that way until the end of the year. So they don't want Barbie to take over, so now they're re-releasing this movie. Did that work very well? I don't know, you be the judge, but honestly for me, I think it didn't go so bad, I would say. It was a good strategy. But will Super Mario Brothers movie continue to stay at the top spot of 2023? That's for you to decide. Honestly for me, I don't think so. I think Barbie is gonna overtake. So sorry Super Mario Brothers movie, you did a good job, but you're gonna be number 2 soon. Then you have Blue Beetle, which made about $12.7 million with a 49% drop. Now that's usually I would say that films that have less than 50% drop is good, but that's only if the film had an opening number that is very big, and then it makes a drop of about 49% like this movie. I would say it's not bad. But this film did not open up to good numbers. It opened up to $25 million. That's an abysmal, horrible number. So that's not a good number. So this film needed better legs. It needed at least a lower than 30% drop to continue to make in order to have the chance to make profit for Warner Brothers. And it didn't do that. So you can already tell it's going to be a box office bomb. There's no hope for this movie at this point. So it made $46.3 million overall at the box office domestically, $35 million overseas. It did worse overseas, which is quite the opposite of what I know from usual comic book films. The only film to this exception I've known for is probably Black Panther. That's the only exception I know, but usually comic book films do much better in overseas, but in this film it's not. And overall worldwide box office, $82 million. Now that's a bad number. But hopefully, let's see over time whether the film ever has good legs or not. Because again, I don't think it's purely this movie's fault for performing this poorly at the box office. I heard it's a good movie, but then again, there's a strike going on in Hollywood. The film stars are not allowed to promote this film, and there's a lot of things going on with James Gunn's new DCU, the DCEU being gone forever, and this film is kind of right smack in the middle. So I can see why this film didn't do so well at the box office. So it's not just because it's bad, because there were a lot of good reviews for this film. It's just that it got stuck in so many bad situations. It got released in a really bad time. Number 4, Oppenheimer, my favorite film of the year so far. And guess what? Just like Barbie, this film has a drop of 16%, which is below 20% as well. Like, holy shit, man. Usually films like this have very high drops, at least 40% at least. This film is having drops of less than 16%. Barbenheimer is still dominating. So, I read an article recently. This is either Nolan's 3rd or 4th highest grossing film of all time currently, and it's an R-rated film. The only films I can think of above this are The Dark Knight Rises, and probably maybe Inception, which is probably maybe still above this, but I have a feeling it's gonna overtake Inception if it continues to perform like this very well. So 16% drop. Overall $300 million domestically, as well as $477 million overseas, and $777 million worldwide. That's a really good number. It's one of the highest grossing R-rated films right now, and I have a feeling it's still gonna do better. This film, I have a feeling it might go up to $850 to $1 billion. That's my prediction. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutants Mayhem, $6.1 million, negative 29% drop. Now remember in my previous box office discussion, I told you about animated films and how their drops are being so low. Like throughout the weekends, their drops are very low. Like Puss in Boots 2, Elemental, at the opening weekend, you would think they are flops, but over time, they had really good legs, and those films became a hit. At least Puss in Boots 2 became a hit, but you thought Elemental was gonna flop? It's not a flop. It broke even. So, and this film, it seems to be having a really good leg as well. So this could be a running trend for animated films for a while. At least that's how I'm seeing it. Where at the opening weekend it doesn't do so well, then good reviews come out, and then the film gets really good legs, and then just does really well in the next weekend with very low drops. Overall, $98.1 million domestically, $37 million overseas, $135 million globally. I think it's a good number. The Meg 2 at number 6, $5.1 million domestically this weekend. Negative 25% drop. Actually, that's very good. But then again, the opening of this film was not that high actually, so but still, the drop was actually very good. $74.4 million domestically overall now. And here's the thing, it doesn't matter how much this film does domestically at this point, because this film already made a chunk of money overseas, especially in China. It already grossed over $100 million in China. It earned more in China than domestically. That says a lot already. So this film is a huge success right now. Overseas, it has earned $278 million overall, $352 million right now globally. Number 7, this will be the final film I'm touching about, Strays, a film that nobody gives a damn about at this point. Why? $4.6 million this weekend, 44% drop, $16.1 million domestically overall now, $5.2 million overseas overall now. You can see how it did overseas. $21 million globally. Like, who the hell cares about this movie at this point? Then you have Mission Impossible having drops of around 20%. Doing good. Hopefully it does that way continuously, so that I'm hoping it makes even, right, with the budget. The budget was pretty high for this film. Like, it was close to $290 million actually. I'm hoping this film does really well for Tom Cruise. I can't wait to see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2 in theaters. Sound of Freedom, continuously doing well. What can I say? And for the first time in a long time, Mission Impossible is finally ahead of Sound of Freedom. So, but then again, both are doing extremely well at the box office right now. Congratulations to those films. Haunted Mansion, I don't have to talk much. It's a flop. It's a goddamn flop. That's all I have for today. If you like this video, click the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe to my channel. And see you guys next time. You guys are always the best.